This is a fantastic episode. Everything works really well. It gives more character development, which again, we're coming near to the end of the season, to be honest, and seeing more of this and seeing like kind of relationships deepen is absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that these episodes are kind of taken with care. They're given love. Every episode has pretty much been given a lot of love, and definitely 17 is a wholesome episode. It has wholesome moments, and I don't know, I've not really seen much of this sort of stuff in Power Rangers for a long time. So to me, I love this. I feel like this series is getting a lot of love, and I'm all here for it. Also, I am going to say this, like in this episode, the laws of Power Ranger physics are just out the window, because at the very beginning when Jane is kind of exercising after what Izzy is showing on a stream, it's just like out the door, flies around for a little bit, kind of like hitting the ground, and then just Izzy catching it and holding up. And I'm just thinking that would be impossible. That would be impossible, not unless you're in Ranger gear. But I just feel like this entire part was just like oh, this is a bit weird, but I kind of like it. Now, there are funny moments. I think one of the funniest moments we see is obviously Izzy and Javi's dad talking about exercising, saying, hey, do you want to come and exercise and stuff like that? And he's like, I just don't look good in spandex or something related to that. And everyone's like, I don't know. That part made me laugh because everyone knows that they wear spandex and so. So it kind of made me smile at least. Now, the main concept of this episode is the fact that there is a key to a drill that is going to help the city. From what I understand from future episodes is you're able to kind of program it and it will do itself justice. It will do what it wants. You want to go from A to Z, this will do it. And I kind of like that because it's speeding up the plot and it doesn't happen until kind of much later on. But this is a drill that will work. And no one knows what they're after until the bad guys come along and they're targeting Izzy and Javi's dad. With all of this, I feel like it's coming to the end game. I feel like we're moving at a pace which could have been faster, but at least we're getting that progression that we need. The monster in this is called Quickspine, and I feel like when he's using his attacks, it just feels like he's really, really slow. Like he's not really being as quick as he is. I imagine that if you're a speedster, you would have sped up the monster footage a little bit. Yeah, we've seen stuff how like kind of speed works in movies like Eternals or The Flash. So I think like using it a bit more would have worked better, but I just feel like it's a bit kind of Now, he is a lot faster than the Dino Fury Rangers, even when they use the sprint key or anything like that. They're not able to do it. But I think what the main issue is this entire episode is focused on Izzy and Fern and the way that the relationship, and we don't normally get a lot of relationships in Power Rangers. Either it's Rangers and Rangers getting together, so obviously they know the kind of the dangers, but we don't know too much about like kind of like civilians, Rangers dating civilians. So this episode kind of focuses on this. So Izzy literally is a badass in this. She's able to take down henchmen quite quickly, and I loved the camera angles. Now, it took me a while to kind of figure out, is this Japanese footage or is this something different in Dino Fury? And it took me a while and I was like, no, this is definitely Japanese footage because of the way that the drone goes in, the way that the footage drops quality all the way through. I love the way that Izzy is chasing Mucus, that it's all kind of like fun, but then literally Izzy just goes overpowered and just takes out the henchmen. But I think that the main part is when we get like Izzy talking to Fern, like she has to deepen her voice because obviously she would know straight away. And the fact that Fern confesses her feelings, like, oh my God, my girlfriend's gone. So I need to find her. I need to tell her I love her. And you know, it's like, what? Now, Izzy has to take a step back because obviously no one knows that she's the Green Ranger, but hearing this triggers something much later on, which is a really good way of expressing, saying, hey, this is happening, which we'll talk about at the end. But I really love this. I feel like the writing for this episode was absolutely spot on and was fantastic. I think when you're looking at the helmet expressions, we can easily pick up on our faces like, oh my God, like you've told me this, or, you know, you can definitely tell in the expressions, but I think the way the body movement was, the helmet expressions, I'm going to call this, was fantastic. It was like, oh, it really resonated, and you could see that whoever was in the suit really kind of like was able to move around and actually give that impression of like, oh, I'm actually shocked, and not just that I'm standing here. We get to this part in the episode where Izzy can't tell anyone about what's happening. She's been admitted to the same school. She turned it down because she's thinking of being a Power Ranger. And again, this isn't a thing where they think, oh, this is only for a year or only a set amount of time. For now, they're the only Power Rangers until the big bad has been defeated. So when Izzy has to say, I can't tell you why I didn't go to the school, having Fern get really pissed off and her dad getting angry, I feel like you can kind of relate and you want to know a bit more, but obviously that's not going to be a thing. Now, there is a part in this when a monster comes down, attacks everyone, and goes for Izzy's dad. I think this would be the perfect time to tell her father, I'm a Power Ranger, because there's a key point that when her dad hurts her leg, because he gets flown across, he drops the key, and then obviously the bad guys get the key and fight Rangers and stuff like that. But it's when Izzy's looking after her dad and making a splint, there's a part where it should have been, hey, just to let you know, I'll be okay, and this is the reason, and to actually morph there. I think that would have been a great time to kind of say, hey, this is the reason, which could have led into a bit more kind of trust and a bit more kind of panic. But seeing this made that there's a bit more of a connection, and her dad references this by saying, look, there's a reason why you didn't want to go to this school. I need to be more trusting, I need to be more accepting, just like I was with your brother, which referenced when Javi was having a problem with his dad and he was like, I'm a musician, and kind of blew up at him. Feels like the dad, even though we've not seen him a lot, has actually grown, has actually become a better character. And at the very beginning, I was like, I can't stand this guy. But now I'm like, yeah, okay, I can deal with this. I think he's an okay guy. Generic, they've fought, they've done their stuff, the monster's been defeated, and the bad guys have got the key and they've now got the Sporix. The big part of this is Izzy is trying to figure out what should she do. Should she stay and not talk to Fern or whatever? And that makes me kind of interested. I love Tessa's acting in this because it felt natural, and that's what I wanted to see. I was very kind of worried that it may be a bit wooden or it may not be as authentic as what we wanted, but seeing her emotions, seeing how her body language was, to me, was perfect. I loved this, and it felt really natural, as I've just mentioned. So seeing her talk to Fern, and I loved the way that she was able to kind of say, hey, I'm a Power Ranger, but I'm not. It's like one of those things saying, say you're a Ranger without saying you're a Ranger. And the way that she just turns around and says, you said 2, what do you mean? And then all the pieces kind of click. That's what I like, because then it's like, oh my God, you are, the Megazords, the Rangers, blah, blah, blah. And I love this because this was an exciting moment. She's finding out her girlfriend is a Power Ranger and is saving the world. And of course, she can't go to the college to learn this intense training. So yeah, she understands it. And there's one thing at the very end when she says, may the power protect you. That's very weird because no one would really come up with that. So I feel like we're finding out that maybe Fern's mother was a Power Ranger. Maybe it was Trini. Who knows? There's a whole video I will make on this at some point very soon. But seeing this and hearing about this was fantastic. I loved this scene, and it really set the tone for the entire kind of episode. So for me, seeing this, loved it. I want to see more of this much later on in Cosmic Fury. I want to see this with a lot more kind of like characters. I feel like this is going in a fantastic direction. We're coming up to the end game, so little things like the key to the drill, to little things kind of add more to it. I just kind of wish we were a little bit further on, but that will come into most of the other episodes much later on. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's one of the best ones. I feel like it is definitely up there because of the way of Tessa's acting in the last part, as well as pretty much all the way through the episode. I love her facial expressions. It works so well. So yeah, I am going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this episode? Let me know down below in the comments. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll see you in a bit.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。